I'm Steve Morris, and I'm going to talk a little more about self-publishing do's and don'ts, diving deeper into some of the stuff that I've learned from working with print houses. Same disclaimer as last time. Don't let yourself be overwhelmed. If it seems like too much, just get a piece of it and move forward. Definitely do something. Don't just sit and continually learn. Don't necessarily heed my advice. So far, I've only lost money on this effort, but you can, take a look at my input and figure out how to do it better. And finally, figure out what works for you. These are the things that I'm going to cover today: Amazon KDP, Ingram Spark, Barnes and Noble Press, some related tools, and then my choices and why I made them. So let's start with KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing. So there's a low bar for entry. There's no charges to create your book. It supports ebook, Kindle format, paperback, and hardback. It has tools to help you create covers. It even recently added free AI audiobook creation. It has options for royalties. But to get the maximum royalty, you actually have to have a higher price. So if you want to sell your book for 99 cents, like it's the first book in a series, you want it to be cheaper, you actually have to drop the amount of royalty you get out of it as well. It is continually free to do updates. Anytime you find a mistake, you can go change it for free. You can use docx format if you don't need graphics when you upload it. If you Even if you have graphics that don't have to go all the way out to the edges, you can use docx, so pictures that are in the middle of a page. But if you have stuff that needs to bleed all the way to the margin, then you need to use PDF. Note that if you use KDP Select, which allows your book to be read through subscribers of Kindle Unlimited, you're not allowed to distribute your ebook through other means. So you're limiting yourself to Amazon. And note that there's this weird gotcha out there that I see a lot of things where people are saying their book got stolen, someone's pirating it in another country and selling it. Amazon will kick you out of the program because they're supposed to have exclusive rights to sell your ebook. So if they find somebody else is selling it, even if it's illegal, uh, they've been known to stop selling it. They do not sell to brick and mortar stores. So you can't say use Amazon to get your book into Barnes and Nobles. My second option is Ingram Spark. They also have a low bar for entry. It's $25 for each format of the book that you're uploading. They have deals if you are uploading multiples. And if you're willing to wait, you can find a time when there's a special deal to get it for free. I think recently they may have made the entry perma-free. I'm not sure about that. They have a cover creation. Uh, they have an interface where it will create a cover template for you. Some of their details about how you format and upload your book are incorrect. If you follow their instructions, it looks like they have a deal set up with Adobe. They want you to go buy that product, save it in certain ways. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to buy the Adobe tools to get the formatting right. But you do have to figure out how to do it without using their directions. There's lots of flexibility on royalties. You can select different percentages in different countries. Obviously, it depends on the base cost of your book for them to create it, and then there's options that you have to choose about how you want to use them as a distributor that will affect how much royalty you get out of it. To my recollection, they want everything in PDF. You can, this is what I was saying about Adobe earlier. You don't actually have to use it. You can export from Word. You have to use the PDF-A format. It seems to work fine. Now, the key thing about Ingram Spark for me is that they allow you to mark a book as returnable. This enables brick and mortar stores like Barnes and Nobles to buy your book. So if you go in and you're asking someone there to see if they will carry your book, give them the ISBN from the version on Ingram Spark, and they'll see that it's returnable, and they'll allow you. They will buy your book. Barnes and Noble Press. So again, there's a low bar for entry. They have free book creation for ebook. Theirs is for the Nook, paperback and hardback. They actually have my favorite template creator out of the KDP, Ingram, and Barnes and Noble. I find that importing it and using my tools it's a lot more clear to me how it works. They have much more ancillary data that you have to enter than either of the other two, so just it takes a while to get all the data put in. I don't actually remember the royalties set up anymore. To my recollection, there's never any charge for doing updates. You have continuously free updates. The format, I believe, was similar to Amazon, where you could use something easier than a PDF if you weren't doing bleeds, but if you had to go all the way to the margins, you used PDF. Again, they do not allow books to be returnable, which is really weird because one of the reasons I attempted this in the first place was I thought Barnes & Noble Press would be able to sell to Barnes & Noble brick and mortar, but they can't because they won't mark it as returnable. You should also consider that you can't do the Nook and do KDP Select. So if you want people on Amazon to be able to use their Kindle Unlimited accounts to be able to buy books, you can't sell it through Nook. And then some other tools that I use to make all these pieces come together. I use a tool called Juta for formatting. It's not freeware, but it wasn't expensive. There was a one-time cost. It's not like it's a monthly service. It creates EPUB and DocX versions for my books. It creates a ton of other formats, but those are the only two that I've found I need to use. I then use Word to convert that DocX to PDF if I have a book that has bleeds that go to the margins. I've only had one of those so far. I think at this point, with what I understand about formatting, I could do the same thing without this tool. I don't know that it's necessary. It helped me when I was getting started. I use GIMP as a graphics tool for covers and ad creation. This is a freeware tool. It supports tons of common graphic formats. Anything someone's created for me, say on Fiverr, any of the artists there, I've always been able to read it, get the layering right and everything. I use a tool called Sigil for editing EPUBs. This is also a freeware program. It's not something I find I definitely have to use, but I find that sometimes uh, the there's a difference between how the ebook format would look in, say, a Kindle Reader than it would be in something else. And so I'll go edit the EPUB HTML directly to try to get things maybe centered the way I want them for graphics or something. And then Bowker is who I use for creating the ISBNs. As I mentioned before, you need an ISBN for every format of your book at every distribution center that you're going to use, exceptions being the ebooks. So this is a way for you to keep ownership of your ISBNs. So why did I pick KDP and Ingram? I like the idea that when people are shopping for books on Amazon, they're already intending to buy a book. They're looking for a book there. So if yours pops up and if it's in the right genre, you have direct access to a market that was eager to actually read a book. You're not having to hunt for book readers. You've got them coming to you. Amazon wants to sell stuff. So if someone's bought one of your books, they will point that person to more of your books because they want to sell anything. From what I read, if you take the effort of just distributing books yourself, you'll get more profit, but obviously it costs more time. You've got to figure out how you're going to send everything. You've got to make the trips to the post office, whatever you have to do to get the books out the door. I just didn't think I had that kind of time. And then I picked Ingram because it allows me to get books into stores like Barnes and Nobles. I like being able to go into the bookstores and do a signing. Uh, they want to be able to buy your book ahead of time, so they'll buy it through Ingram. You point them at the ISBN for your Ingram version of the book. They find it, buy it, and you can sell it in the store. So the cons of the choices that I made, if I make a mistake, I have to go update 4 versions of the book on 2 different sites, right? I have to go to Amazon KDP and edit my EPUB, paperback, and hardback, and I have to go to Ingram and update my paperback, and there it cost me $25 to make the change. By not doing distribution myself, I acknowledge that I am losing money, but I am conserving time and spending on things that I would rather spend it on. Finally, and about the author page, I mentioned I'm Steve Morris. I do engineering by trade. I love writing fantasy. What I have shown here is the first series I created called the Guardian League. It's an urban fantasy series. The new series that I'm creating now is a prequel to the Guardian League, but it takes place so long ago that I'm calling it high fantasy. It doesn't have anything to do with an urban fantasy world. And I would love it if you would take the time to go read and rate and review my books. Thanks.